Back to the daily grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time
MMA.
I would like to start this video off by adding the full-time family and anybody else that's listening to this video right now to bow their heads with me in prayer. Dear MMA gods, thank you for giving us one. Thank you for allowing Conor McGregor to come back before 2018 and defend his title versus Tony Ferguson. Thank you for guiding MMA the hardcore fans' way for once in a while. We understand that you're trying to go the entertainment route, but sometimes we still got to get one for on our side. All right, man, I'm fucking done with that shit. I ain't no goddamn preacher. That shit was about to get real bad. All right, you get the fucking point. Conor McGregor versus motherfucking Tony Ferguson is this close to being announced, and you can't see my fingers, but they're real close together. It's real close to being announced, yo. I'm thinking it's going to be this weekend at UFC 217. They'll make the official announcement that Conor McGregor's going to be coming back, returning to MMA, returning to Las Vegas. Wait, that's where his last fight was versus Floyd, huh? Returning to MMA at Las Vegas, UFC 219 versus fucking Tony Ferguson, El Cucuy. Let's fucking go. Who knows what's going to happen with Nate Diaz, but I really, at this point, I'm not even thinking about that, because that was the other option, the trilogy fight or Tony Ferguson, but Tony Ferguson is the interim champion now. Conor McGregor is now the disputed lightweight champion. He's no longer the undisputed. The reigning undisputed! Alright. He's no longer the undisputed champion ever since Tony Ferguson won that interim title. So, Conor McGregor did a, I don't know if it was exactly an interview, but his movie, The Notorious, the documentary's coming out, and so he did like I guess an interview ahead of it where I don't know if it was a press conference, but he answered a lot of questions, and I think the biggest question that could be asked was, Conor, who is going to be your next fight, whether it be boxing or MMA? And he answered it. Now, whenever my boy Barry Walters sent me the email and said that Conor McGregor, you know, this article, on the article, they said that Conor confirmed who he was going to be fighting. He didn't necessarily confirm it, but he did say what it's looking like he wants. And we know what Conor gets, what Conor wants. So this is exactly what Conor McGregor had to say. I've got everyone clawing at me, trying to get at me, and that's from multiple sorts, multiple organizations, multiple everything. It's been like that for a long, long time, I feel, so it's just another day for me. I know there are many contenders in the UFC. There are many boxing contenders as well. What interests me is certainly a UFC bout, certainly a defense of my lightweight title. There is a fighter with the interim lightweight belt, and I feel that will be next. We'll see how negotiations go. Now that's the most interesting part to me about this. We'll see how negotiations go. Another interesting part, but not the most interesting part, is also close to the end. He said, there is a fighter with the interim lightweight belt. He didn't go on to say Tony Ferguson. You know what I'm saying? Conor does not. I wonder if Conor McGregor has ever said those two words together. Tony Ferguson. We seen him say Tony on that Instagram post, but I don't think I wonder if he's ever said Ferguson. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one thing Tony Ferguson has been pointing out. Like, you know, this dude's scared to say my name and shit. He don't even want to say my name. You know what I'm saying? I'm El Cucuy. You don't want to say my name and shit. And Conor McGregor, he said there's a fighter with the interim lightweight belt. Didn't say his name, but he did say I feel that will be next. We'll see how negotiations go. Now, why is that part the most interesting? We'll see how negotiations go, because that's probably why Nate Diaz is not fighting right now. That's probably why this fight's getting traction, because Nate Diaz might have priced him at the game. Now, we all heard Nate Diaz say the number 20 million. He could have just been throwing that out there to, you know, come to a middle ground, but that middle ground is probably a little too high. The UFC is probably like, you know, sorry, Nate, we can't give you 20 million or 10 million for this one fight. For one, it opens the fucking floodgates for everyone else asking for that much money. For two, it's not worth it. I mean, we get one fight out of you that's going to do huge numbers, but then after that, you're going to probably still be making demands, still be hard to work with. You're going to have more money, more leverage. You're really going to not want to fight, and or, you know what I'm saying? Or you might retire and we ain't even going to get anything. What if you beat Conor McGregor? If somebody's going to beat Conor McGregor, or even if they're going to fight Conor McGregor, it would be dope to know that they're gonna fight more in the UFC afterward. If Conor McGregor even beats somebody like Eddie Alvarez or something, more people are gonna know who that person is. If Conor goes on to fight Nate and then Nate retires off into the sunset, it would be disastrous if Conor lost to Nate and Nate retired. That would be terrible for the UFC. Conor loses and there's no fucking buddy to promote after that. Now, if Tony Ferguson beats Conor, he might be able to take that fucking throne and try and run with it. It's not going to be as potent still, but still, you know what I'm saying? You'll still have that guy. You'll still have those Conor highlights. Like, oh shit, this guy, every fucking one of Tony. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot that the UFC would benefit from, that whoever fights Conor McGregor sticks around. So yeah, Nate Diaz is worth a lot of money because that's the fight that the most casuals and the general public would like to see, but it's still probably not worth as much as Nate Diaz might think. And I don't know, I'm not his camp. He's got somebody telling him what to do. Some people think it's Nick Diaz, but I tend to believe Nate Diaz probably has a manager by this point, you know, and they're probably bargaining or something, but who knows. This video is really not about Nate Diaz, except for the fact that negotiations line, because Tony Ferguson, now it's his time to negotiate. Now, I personally don't think that's going to be a hard negotiation. I think if you told Tony Ferguson Conor McGregor's going to be there December 30th, you're not getting a fucking pay raise. You're going to get the pay that you signed your contract for. You are getting champion pay because you're a champion, but we're not going to pay you fucking $2 million just because you're fighting Conor. Now, do you want the fight, or do you want us to go to Paulie? Tony Ferguson, I have a feeling Tony Ferguson will sign that fucking dotted line today. People criticize Eddie Alvarez. Oh, I think even Conor did. You signed to fight me for the same money. You're on your same bum-ass contract. It might be true, but you get a lot. It's not about what you sign on for. For one, you're going to get pay-per-view shares, which is going to be a lot more. I mean, if you're not getting pay-per-view shares, that's a whole nother story. But if you're a champion and you hit a certain threshold, I'm pretty sure you're going to get your pay-per-view shares because he's a champion, the interim champion, and he's in a championship fight. So, just from the fact you're getting pay-per-view shares, who cares if you get that raise? I mean, what is that, a fucking ego thing? You're still going to probably make more money than you've ever made just getting pay-per-view off a Conor McGregor fight. Plus, if you win, then you can renegotiate. You know what I'm saying? If you go on to beat Conor, then you can fucking... You got the power. I got the power. You know what I'm saying? So, Conor said we'll see negotiations go. I don't think Tony Ferguson is going to even think about pricing himself out the game. I think he's going to take the fucking first contract they give him as soon as he gets it looked over. You know, you don't want to get ripped off. Make sure you're getting some pay-per-view points or something. But I don't think he's going to fucking come out and say, oh, it's looking like I got the interim title belt, so $5 million or nothing. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what the fuck you tell me in the comments. I'm out. Alright, one last quick thing. Conor could be talking about negotiations with himself. You know, we'll see how my negotiations go. Like if the UFC wants to give me what I'm worth. As far as, you know, Conor might want a percentage, or he might want a raise, or who knows. Because I believe Conor McGregor's got one fight left on his contract. I could be wrong. But he could be just trying to negotiate for himself. But I don't think that's the case, because he's talking about Paulie and everybody coming over to the UFC, and, you know, whether he's defending against Tony or Nate, it's all in the UFC, it's like. So, I mean, he could step out with like the Ali act and go fight boxing with his own negotiations, but I'm pretty sure he's talking about Tony Ferguson's negotiations. So with that being said, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what the fuck you tell me in the comments. I'm out, and I can't wait for this movie, by the way.
Bye, Felicia.